Hi, everyone. Welcome to Inside Sports on LCTV 66. Eric May, Nick Dianastasis. Glad you could join us. And we are going to be talking NFL as we are now a quarter of the way through the season already, Nick. Hard to believe that, everybody looks forward to the NFL season. And then just in the blink of an eye, we're 1/4 through already. What's your observation so far in the NFL season for 2015?
That's very, very interesting because the Eagles have certainly been up and down since that trade Nick Foles, to St. Louis Rams for Sam Bradford, and Sam Bradford actually led the Rams to 2 comeback wins already. He's doing pretty well overall statistically for the Rams.
And so you are an Eagles fan, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. What's your feeling on the Eagles?
Well, I just wish that they could have held. Should have held on to Nick Foles, not trade him to the Rams. Held on to him and use him with DeMarco Murray, same backfield. Instead of using him with Sam Bradford, left Sam Bradford with the Rams where he was before.
Yeah. Oh, so you're not a big Sam Bradford fan then?
No, I'm not. I'm a DeMarco Murray fan. Yeah, not Sam Bradford.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what I want to do is just kind of run through each conference. Take a look at where we are right now at the standings, kind of get your observation.
Sure, absolutely.
What you foresee for the remainder of the season. All right. Well, and we're going to start off with the AFC and the AFC East. And really, I guess the beast, until somebody can beat them, is the New England Patriots.
That's
it just
exactly
seems
right.
to be a broken record. It's the same thing every year.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah. Jets right now are a game behind them. Do you see the Jets giving the Patriots contention for that AFC East title?
That's a good question. The way the Patriots play right now, I don't know if anybody will be able to give them a run for the money. The Patriots for their division title in the same division of Patriots. Is what I'm saying, as far as their divisional play and within their division, if the Patriots play the way the rest of the year, that's what I'm saying.
Well, they are really a machine.
The Jets might be able to knock them off one game. Sure, that could happen during the season at some point, regular season. That's a possibility always.
I think already early on, Jets might be one of those early season surprises.
Right.
I didn't foresee them at 3-1.
Yeah.
Especially with, Geno Smith, their quarterback, knocked out literally for the first 7 to 8 weeks. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, guy that people just figure is a journeyman backup, doing a pretty nice job for him.
One of the great stories for him this year. Absolutely, come out of nowhere, trying to put the Jets back on the map in NFL this year. Especially if they fired Rex Ryan at the end of last year. Now Rex Ryan, of course, is doing pretty well with the Buffalo Bills overall.
Yeah. And speaking of fired, already a coach fired. Joe Philbin with the Miami Dolphins.
Exactly.
Who,
yes.
1-3.
Right.
Kind of early in the season, but obviously front office in Miami not liking what they've seen so far.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, over in the AFC North, again, maybe another big surprise, the Cincinnati Bengals, 5-0 to start the season, and nice 2-game lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers in that AFC North. Now, the question is, can Cincinnati keep this up all season long?
That's a good question. Provided, Eric, they stay away from injuries, nagging injuries. As long as they made nagging injuries, they play their caliber, keep doing as long as Cincinnati keeps doing that, doesn't fall apart for any apparent reason. Okay, as far as consistency, they don't expect going undefeated the whole year. But, just win almost the rest of their games and the playoffs and try and get home field and start the playoffs. They'll be in great shape. And I want to give Cincinnati a lot of credit. It's great that we stuck by Marvin Lewis, long-time head coach. Mm-hmm. And it proves really is a good head coach with the Bengals. A very good overall record. He's done a nice job with them, putting a map overall what he's done there. That is a very good, solid coach, Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, and I think you have to give their front office some credit, because so many times you get 1 or 2 losing seasons,
right?
And a lot of times the coach has shown the door. But
it's a tough business. Yeah.
In this situation, they stuck by him, and it's paying off. Now the question is, if they keep doing this and they make the playoffs, can they win a playoff game? Because every year that they've reached the playoffs, it's 1 and out for them.
Good question. I think they can. This might be the year they can get over the hump, win 1 or 2 playoffs. And if they can do that, it might be headed to Super Bowl from the AFC. There's always that great possibility. You never know.
Well,
maybe.
That's right.
You may meet New England in an NFC Championship game, or maybe one of those deals. That might be a possibility.
Once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen.
Right.
Anything can happen. All right. In the AFC South, Well, this might be one of the weakest divisions. Yeah, the Colts right now in first place at 3-2, and we were talking a little bit beforehand. You know, Andrew Luck, and of course I bought into the hype, have him on my fantasy team, and he hasn't really done much. But and I think this is a Colts team a lot of people were thinking could make a run at the Super Bowl. Granted, it's early, but do you see the Colts as a possible contender?
Well, I said Colts is a very good, overall good playoff contender, at least that for sure. You know, as long as it's making consistent, you know, what they've done with their team overall, based on what all the playoffs last year. They lost last year in the AFC Championship game, I believe, to New England. So they get that far last year. Why couldn't they go this far this year? It was always a great possibility.
Well,
and Andrew Luck just stays consistent, doesn't fall apart, and do what he's capable of doing, be a consistent quarterback for the most part.
Well, of course, he's got a bad shoulder right now. And
right.
I think you got to attribute a lot of that to that offensive line right now is not real good for the Colts. I mean, you added Frank Gore and Andrew Johnson and some key people, but the thing is, if you can't protect your franchise quarterback, it's going to be tough.
Very tough. You have a great offensive line to help go away to win a championship. You have to. It's so critical. Offensive line, the most important part of all of that puzzle.
You know, right now
the offense great.
Yeah, they're up on the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, the Houston Texans are another team that I think somewhat of a disappointment. I think a lot of people thought that they were going to be a possible playoff contender. Right now at 1-4. You know, of course, when you think of the Texans, you think of J.J. Watt and their defense, and you know, another guy that was drafted high and hasn't really amounted to much was Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, what's he done since he's been in the league? Not much of anything.
Yeah, and I'm shocked because he was in South Carolina. He was an All-American player for Steve Spurrier for around 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a tremendous player.
Well, another guy that you have to deal with injuries, and it just seems like he has been bitten by the injury bug early on in his career.
And that's unfortunate that injury plagues a player like that. He has a potential to be a great NFL player for years to come in the league.
Well, then out in the AFC West, I don't think it's really any surprise, but Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos right now at 5-0. Maybe one of the nice surprises is the Oakland Raiders and the way that they have responded under Jack Del Rio with a young quarterback in Derek Carr. And then,
it is.
Yeah, and
one of the real nice stories in the NFL this year. What they've done with that team.
Yeah,
trying to revamp that team, get them really on the map, trying to be a playoff caliber contender. Finally, maybe they could do it. Raiders really been down in recent years. I don't know why. They just had it.
Well, it all starts with the front office,
right,
and the draft picks. But you know what? I think they got one in Derek Carr and Amari Cooper. I mean, that's a nice combination to have as far as
great player Alabama. Oh yeah, absolutely, great pickup for him.
Yep. So, and then the Kansas City Chiefs and your old head coach Andy Reid really having a tough time now at 1-4, and without Jamal Charles out for the year with a torn ACL. Long season for the Chiefs.
Yeah. How's their quarterback, Alex Smith? He's doing pretty well from this year, overall stats?
He's doing okay. Again, the big issue with the Chiefs is receivers don't score touchdowns. I mean, Macklin scored a touchdown for the first time in over a season as far as a Kansas City wide receiver is concerned. So
oh my gosh,
they definitely need receivers to step up. But, again, it's more than just the receiver. It's the quarterback. It's the line. There's so many things.
That's exactly right.
But,
I mean, all those good things to come together to have a really good team, especially a chance at caliber, not just a playoff team.
Right.
At any level, college or pro, whatever it might be. So.
All right. I'm going to throw some trivia at you, and this is all going to be Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame in that capacity. All right. Which of these coaches entered the Hall of Fame first? Marv Levy, Joe Gibbs, Bud Grant, or Don Shula?
Now that's really interesting. Oh my God.
All four are in. Who was the first one to go in?
First one to go in the Hall of Fame. That's a really good trivia question there. That's pretty good. Don Shula, Marv Levy, right? Joe Gibbs,
and Bud Grant.
Okay. I'm going to say out of those four guys, I mean, Bud Grant retired after the 1985 season for good as the Vikings head coach after losing to the Eagles in his last game, in Minnesota. And so I'm going to have to say there's a great possibility Great possibility. My guess could very well could be. I would say it would have to be Bud Grant.
And it was Bud Grant. Very good. Which team has the most Hall of Fame members?
You mean as coaches? If all
No.
NFL players?
Of all the players in the NFL, which has the most, as far as what team is represented the most in the
Hall of Fame players from an NFL team,
Right.
individual NFL team.
Yeah, which team has the most Hall of Fame members?
Okay. Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to guess my assumption is it might be the teams that won the most Super Bowls, I would have to assume, more or less.
Well, I'll let you decide that.
Right. Interesting. Very. Oh, all right. Absolutely. Sure. Okay. Okay. Since the Steelers are the first team to win the most Super Bowls at 4, now the Steelers are the team to win the most Super Bowls at 6, as we all know, of course. I'm going to have to say it's a great possibility it may have to be the Steelers. They won the most Super Bowls and most Hall of Famers.
No, it is not.
Oh, my gosh.
You got to figure that teams that have been around the longest maybe have the greatest chance. It's actually
true.
the Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
It is the Chicago Bears.
And I can see why. They had a lot of great players called
Right.
the NFL Tiger long before the Super Bowl was even born in 1967.
Figure how old the
wonder.
franchise is. And,
Yeah, right.
you got a lot of people to pick from. So.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we need
Very
to
well
take
put.
our break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the NFC, and I got more trivia questions for you. We'll step aside. More Inside Sports when we return on LCTV 66.
LCTV 66 is your community channel, and your donations keep us on the air and help to produce more local programs. Send your tax-deductible donation of $500, $100, or more to the address on the screen. Or think of it this way. For the price of a couple of movie tickets, you can help support your community channel. Send what you can and be a part of all that is good about Lancaster County. Thank you for your tax-deductible donation to LCTV 66, Lancaster's Connection.
LCTV 66 is your connection for high school and college sports. Catch the action of your favorite teams in Lancaster County. Coverage of basketball, ice hockey, field hockey, soccer, football, and more. To join the LCTV sports production team or to sponsor or underwrite a sporting event, contact us at info@lctv66.org or call 717-394-LCTV. This is your community, your teams on your local sports channel, Lancaster Community TV.
And welcome back to Inside Sports. Eric May, Nick Dianastasis, thanks for joining us. We're talking NFL football in the 2015 season, and right now throwing some trivia questions Nick's way regarding the Hall of Fame. Love looking through some of these questions and the history. Have you ever been to the Hall of Fame?
I've never been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'd like to go there someday
great.
and see it. It'd be wonderful to see it someday. You know, I saw the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, back in 1978.
Okay.
With
I've
my
never
parents.
been there.
It was wonderful to see that. Really cool to see.
All I
that.
can say is
It
if
really
you
was.
get there, give yourself all day.
Yeah,
Because
I can
to
imagine.
read about the history is
Yeah.
it really is a lot of fun.
I can
All
only
right.
imagine. I'm sure it would be.
How many Hall of Famers won a Heisman Trophy?
You mean Pro Football Famers won the Heisman?
And now they're in the Hall of Fame. How many have won a Heisman and are in the Hall of Fame?
Oh my golly!
How many are there?
I'm glad, Eric. That's a great question you asked me because I remember.
I'm not going to ask you to name them. Just give me
Oh,
the number.
No, that's I remember. I remember what you had said. I remember what you had said. And there's only a very few players in the Pro Football Hall of Fame that were Heisman Trophy winners. And I remember what it was. It was 8 players, I believe, at one time. 8 players who won the Heisman Trophy in the Pro Football Hall of Fame later from the NFL.
Well,
You mean the name was 8 players?
actually, it's 9 now because
Now it's 9.
Tim Brown made it to the Hall of
That's
Fame
right.
this past
He's
year.
the
So
ninth
yes,
guy.
he is the 9th. There are 9. And they are O.J. Simpson, Roger Staubach, Paul Hornung, Doak Walker, Earl Campbell, Tony Dorsett, Marcus Allen, Barry Sanders, and Tim Brown.
Right.
Did you know all of them?
I knew actually knew all. I knew all but except for 1 or 2 of them.
Okay, that's
That
pretty
were in the
good.
Pro Football Hall of Fame from the Heisman Trophy from the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
All right.
I'm getting that.
Let me throw one more at you
Sure.
before we get talk about the NFC.
Absolutely.
what state has the most Hall of Famers by birthplace? So which state by birthplace is represented the most
The
in
most
the Hall of Fame?
players. Oh, that's a really interesting question. Oh my golly.
I loved some of these were really cool.
Yeah. Out of all the Hall of Famers, you mean the
Yeah.
places?
Which
what
state
state they're
were
from
they?
the most?
Yeah, where they were born.
Oh my God. I might have the answer on that. You know what? I've been thinking.
Just throw you got a 1 in 50 shot.
I remember years ago. So I heard some relatives, stuff like that from my family. They told me a lot of the great quarterbacks that wanted to play college football. They go in the NFL were from the Pennsylvania area.
That's true.
Yeah.
So is that your answer?
So I'm going to say, for how many different states though? Is it
Just which is the top one?
okay? I meant from like from top 5 states, maybe. Not even that. Not
No,
even,
just give me the top.
oh,
one.
that's fine. Okay, I'd be glad to. I will say, I'd have to say, oh my God, at least I have a good guess. I hope I'm correct. I'll say Pennsylvania.
That's a good guess because that's right. It is Pennsylvania. 30.
Joe Namath.
There are
Jim
30
Kelly. and many others.
Yeah, Joe Montana.
Joe Montana.
Yep. Yeah, there are 30 players in the Hall of Fame that were born in Pennsylvania. All right. NFC, we talked about the Eagles. And you know what? Even at 2 and 3, I mean, this division is still wide open. But with the Giants at 3 and 2 and the Eagles playing the Giants this week, this, I think, is really a make or break game for the Eagles if they want to win this division.
I would agree with that. Especially Eagles only be at 2 or 3. I would agree with that 100% because Eagles just been so erratic this year. Best game was played all year was last game when they won big.
Yeah.
You know, over the Saints. The Saints are actually pretty good this year. Saints are off to a nice start. I'm sorry we beat the Saints so bad. I was shocked. I think we had a closer game than that.
You lose
Especially in New Orleans.
Well, Saints are up and down. I mean,
Yeah.
you figure that if you're going
Right.
to beat the Saints, you got to get them out of the dome.
Right.
But for the Eagles, they've already lost to the Redskins. They've lost to the Cowboys. This is really a must-win. And you know what? If the Giants don't blow those first 2 games of the
Right.
season, and say they're 5-0,
Right.
they got a stranglehold on that division lead. So
Yeah.
make or break, I think, for the Eagles this weekend.
How are your Cleveland Browns? How are they doing these days? Are they off to a pretty nice start? They getting things together? Like you were hoping?
2 and 3, I thought they would be a little bit better. Their defense is not good. But they did come up with a win against Baltimore, which makes me very happy. So
How about the starting quarterback? You pretty happy with him so far as how he's improved? The Browns?
He's getting the job done. Plain and simple. You know, there's no more talk about Johnny Manziel.
Right.
Talk is about Luke McCown. And as far as I'm concerned, if he keeps playing well, not turning the ball over, and winning games,
Right.
you stay status quo.
And one of the former quarterbacks, Brandon Whedon, who they
He's with the
Browns
Cowboys,
drafted
yeah.
out of Oklahoma State, not too many years back.
Yeah.
He's of course doing pretty well. The Cowboys as a backup quarterback.
Well, they're talking about maybe another quarterback change now in Dallas because they traded for Matt
Because
Castle.
Roma got hurt. Who knows how much
Right.
long Roma was going to be out with his unfortunate injury? whatever
I think
that
they were
was.
saying 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
You know, so it's going to be a few more weeks
Right.
before Romo's back in pads. All right, AFC North. And again, really no surprise here, the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. You know, a guy like Brady is just so methodical and like a machine
Yeah.
and just so consistent.
Yeah.
You know, I think you have to say the Packers are very much the front runners in the AFC North.
I'm impressed. The Packers are a loaded good team. Aaron Rodgers is a good guy off the field. I like what he represents. He plays his game the right way. He's great. Good
Yep.
man. He's all those good things. You know, a player people like to look up to as an idol to them. You know, fans.
And you just wonder
get his autograph. So, yeah,
what he could have done if he didn't sit for how many years
I don't
behind
know, Brett Favre. Oh, you imagine what he done? He drafted him out of California.
Yep.
Golden Bears. He drafted out of
Yep.
college. Aaron
So
Rodgers.
good things
Yeah,
again up in Green Bay.
exactly.
NFC South, and again maybe one of these surprises this year, the Atlanta Falcons right now at 5-0. Even though Matt Ryan didn't have the best game last week, but you know what? It comes down to wins and losses. They won. They remain undefeated.
Right.
It's a pretty nice offense, and of course Julio Jones, guy having a great season so far.
Yeah. Very good.
There's your. You mentioned about the Saints. The Saints right now at 1-4. Tampa Bay at 2-3. What's your take on Marcus? I can't think of his name now. the quarterback for Tampa that they drafted #1 from Florida State.
Oh my gosh, that guy
Winston.
Yeah, Jameis Winston,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah. Jameis Winston, he has a good arm. He has potential to become a great quarterback. With Tampa Bay, he does.
You see him being a top quarterback?
Well, it's a matter of time. Right now, I think he's just going through an up and down season as a rookie. I remember when John Elway went through that up and down years rookie year with playing for Dan Reeves in Denver. He had an erratic year. After that, he had an Hall of Fame career.
Yep.
There you go. So you never know. I feel like Jameis Winston is becoming a better quarterback each year, but Jameis Winston just has to get things straightened out, though. Other issues he has to get resolved as well with himself, off the field stuff. If he does that, you know what? He could be a great NFL quarterback for years for the Buccaneers. Has a great potential. He has a good arm on him. He's strong, solid.
Yeah,
That's all he has to do.
He's that prototypical big frame pocket quarterback.
Tampa Bay's going to maybe have to trip in a draft this coming spring and get some top-notch wide receivers and get a better offensive line so they can see what he can do that next year, that sophomore year with the Buccaneers. He can really relish and become a really good all-pro caliber quarterback.
NFC West has the Cardinals at 4-1. The Seahawks, a team I think a lot of people thought could be back in the Super Bowl once again. Right now, game under 500 at 2-3. So is the shine kind of come off the luster of the Seattle Seahawks?
That's an interesting point. You know what? When they lost the Super Bowl last year, the game they should have won over the Patriots, as we all know, the bad call by Pete Carroll. I wonder what kind of mindset they had going into this year if that unfortunately happened to let them lose the Super Bowl, the one they really should have won the bottom line, even they did not win. Want to give Patriots credit for winning? Yeah, they did. Patriots came back and won. They did. Came up with some big plays. That was the difference. They won that game instead of the Seahawks. So I guess I don't think that should have anything to do with it. You know why? This really is a new season. Last year was last year.
That's right.
So, these guys get big bucks. They're professionals, as you would say. They have to be focused where they play every week and see what they have a chance to accomplish.
So many times you ask these guys, and in a game like that will stick in the back of their mind for the rest of their lives. And I know it's a new season, but boys, that's got to be a tough one to get over.
Russell Wilson's is a good quarterback.
Yes, he is.
Best quarterback in the NFL.
Yes, he
Solid
is.
quarterback, good guy, good quarterback. I like
a nice hefty paycheck too.
Yeah, I like that Russell is a starting quarterback right now. No matter what NFL team they're a fan of, and that's what I think anyway.
All right, I'm going to fire some questions at you. These are yes and no answers. Okay.
Sure.
Eagles. Do they win the division?
Well, the way the Eagles are playing, they're up and down. That's a tough one. They're just so erratic. I love seeing win the division, but I can't predict they can win the division. They're a little too erratic right now. Right now, I just want to see them be able to win enough games that play us as a wild card.
Okay, so they don't win the division.
I won't expect it.
Okay, do they make the playoffs? Yes or no?
Oh, if they can win a couple games, upcoming weeks, at least consistently, I think they can go to the playoffs as a wild card at best. Okay. Realistically, they could.
All right, and now we have this on tape too. Is Sam Bradford the Eagles' quarterback next year? Yes or no? Starting quarterback.
That's a good question. It depends on what he does for the remainder of this season. That's what it's all going to depend on.
So
that could be a question mark only if he doesn't play well by the rest of the year. That's a big gamble. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that.
If you had to say right now, based on what you've seen, and I know there's still a lot of football to go, but is he the starting quarterback next year? Yes? No?
If he plays more consistently the rest of the year, good chance he might very well be. That's how I see it.
You're speaking like a politician here.
But more consistent, he has to play more consistent. That's all. I'm not saying he win again the rest of the year. I mean, just more consistent that he can.
And
capable.
There's rumors flying around already about Chip Kelly. All right, right now, yes or no? Is he the head coach next year for the Eagles?
If the Eagles make the playoffs, good chance he will be. If the Eagles don't make the playoffs this year, he probably won't be the Eagles head coach next year, Chip Kelly. That's what I'm saying. It's a do or die situation. NFL, it's a tough business. You know what I mean? They could be.
I should be a dentist. It's like pulling teeth out of your neck.
It's a tough business coach in the NFL. It's a big business.
It is, but they're already talking that they think that if things don't work out, he's going to jump ship.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if I make the playoffs, there's no question he'll probably be fired. That's
okay. All right.
It's his fourth year with the Eagles. He needs to really, he made. You know why he got rid of some of these good players, and he got other players returning. He got rid of some of the players back and forth. Big changeover. It's maybe a little too many players he got rid of. I think.
He wanted his stamp on this team, and he has to live or die with it. So.
That's exactly right.
All right,
yeah, that's why I was saying that. Yeah.
See what happens, and then, like I said, you can go back and watch us and see what your predictions are like.
Right, exactly.
All right, well, thanks for joining us on Inside Sports. For Nick Dianastasis, I'm Eric May. We'll talk to you soon.